Thank you. You're welcome. Pursuing health and wellness. And also we're going to do a piece on financial stewardship. And we thank and praise God that we have brought our guests in over the highways. Amen. Gave them traveling mercies. I don't see them, but we thank God for them. Here. Okay, yes, I know they're here. And we thank God for Sister Kristen. Kristen. And we thank God for her. She's such a beautiful young lady. And I thank God for her. No, that's not the one, but I know they can hear me. So today we're going to be focusing on, God wants us whole. He wants us whole body, spirit, and He wants us to do well in our finances. He wants us to have a good journey, okay? And I want to have a good journey while I'm down here. As Bishop said, all that other stuff is taken care of on the other side. We ain't going to have to worry about it, but it's right now, the here and now. So we thank and praise God. So we're going to ask you just to bow your heads, and we're dealing with the principle today of stewardship. And it's God's plan to fulfill our lives. And so He wants us to, again, to live fulfilled lives, to have a good journey down here. So let us pray. Heavenly Father, we do thank you, we do praise you, and we honor you today, Father, for what you're doing in our lives, and just for blessing us to be able to come to a meeting, a service like this, to hear about how we should take care, possess this vessel for your honor and your glory, how you want us to be healthy, body, mind, and soul, and also how you want us to have lived fulfilled lives. And Lord, we also take on the principle of sow and reap, and it's your plan to provide for our life. So as we learn about these things, Father, we pray that you would, as we came out of that service this morning, and we're carrying it on back here, Father, continue to bless us, continue to give us ears that we may hear, and a heart that we may receive what you have for us, Lord. We give you all the glory. We give you all the honor. In Jesus' name, amen. 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 Turn it over there to Minister Bernie.
That was Pastor checking in. All right, praise God, everybody.
Praise God.
We're so excited. Aren't you excited?
Yes.
Anybody excited? I'm excited. To learn and grow and develop.
Yeah.
And we just thank God that He gives us these opportunities to just do well. Amen. All right. So those of you in the back, y'all kind of turn your seats so you won't break your neck. The ones that are facing to the wall, y'all can turn your seats so y'all can see and hear better.
Not fine.
Thank you. So I'm going to get started. I'm only going to be about 5 minutes, okay, with this mental health piece, and then turn it over to Kristen Anderson so she can introduce herself and tell you who she is, and we're excited about what she is going to present. And then we'll have time for question and answers, and then we move on to our financial fitness piece. And then Antonio Reese is here, and his beautiful wife came in from Columbus to be with us today, and he will introduce himself. I have a small bio for him, and they will present and then have time for question and answers, okay? All right? So, really quick. So there, I teach a lesson on self-care, okay? Self-care. We've been hearing about self-care so much, right? So what is your definition of self-care? Just one person tell me, what is your definition of self-care? Anybody?
Balance.
Balance, okay. Who else has one? Self-care. Say that again? Being healthy, okay. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Love yourself.
Loving yourself, okay. All right, anybody else? Self-care. What is it? Awareness. Awareness of what? Where you are in your life, okay? Okay? All right. So there are 8 dimensions of wellness, self-care. So we're going to go over them briefly so we can move out of the way for Kristen. I'm listening, Kristen. Okay? So, and then when I say it, then you just give me shout out an idea of what that is to you, okay? And then we're going to be really brief. I like to be interactive because y'all eating and y'all going to sleep. Well, we're not going to sleep.
That's right.
We're not going to sleep. We're going to be paying attention. So, hold on 1 second. There we go. Okay, here. Okay, so physical. There's 8 dimensions of self-care. 1 is physical. How can you take care of yourself physically? Exercise. That is one way. Yes. What else?
Eat healthy.
Eating healthy. Very good. What else?
Getting a proper amount of sleep.
Yes. Do you know how much lack of sleep affects your mental health?
Yes.
Okay, so say this with me so we can finish. Everybody say mental health.
Mental health
Is health.
is health.
Say it one more time. Mental health
Mental health
is health.
is health.
Because of the stigmas in our communities, we separate the two. Physical and mental, we separate them constantly, and we should not. And your head is not detached from your body at all. So just like God gave us cardiologists and endocrinologists and internal medicine doctors, who my cousin is, God gave us these doctors. He's also given us psychologists and psychiatrists. Psychiatrists, they the ones that give medicine, not psychologists, okay? So we can't separate the two, okay? So physical, yes, taking care of our bodies, sleeping, okay? Eating right, exercise, okay? And as we go through these 8 dimensions, I want you to ask yourself, have I neglected myself in any of these areas? I want you to ask yourself that. Think about it. Am I neglecting myself in any of these areas? So, physical, again, those are many ways to take care of yourself physically. The next one is mentally. Okay? How do we take care of ourselves mentally? Anybody have an idea?
Counseling.
Say that again.
Counseling.
Counseling, very good. Seeking help when you need it. And it's okay. Okay? People think there's you are not putting your faith in God if you go see, especially a psychologist or a therapist. And some people, even with doctors. We grew up in an era where it was, God's going to heal me, and they wouldn't go see a doctor. Is that wise?
No.
No. Okay? Mentally, how are we taking care of ourselves mentally? Self-encouragement. Self-talk. Very good. Look in that mirror and tell yourself, you got this. The affirmations. It's okay. Tell yourself, I look good. I'm going to be okay. Okay? Hey, if you don't believe about yourself, how do you expect somebody else to believe you? Or believe in you? Okay? All right? Mentally, I'm going to read you what they have. And I believe it. I believe it. So, mentally, we talk about, a lot of times we can put our feelings out by journaling. Okay? Okay? Because we are all born with emotions, right?
Yeah.
Okay? We all have our emotions. So, and then, one way to take care of yourself mentally, I like this one, is being thankful.
Yes. Yes.
Yep. Having gratitude. That's how you can take care of yourself mentally. But you're not thinking about what you don't have, what I don't have, what I don't have. That'll stress you out.
Yes.
If you're grateful, then you are building your mental capacity for real. Okay? I'm going to be quick because I want to get through it. Emotional. We just alluded to that. How do you take care of your emotional self-care? Journaling, again, yeah. Yeah, we're born with our emotions. We can't hide from them. We have them. Okay? Yes.
Talking it out.
Talking it out. Okay? Right? That's amazing. Yes.
Feeling your feelings.
Feeling your feelings. That's great. You have them. You can't apologize. The only thing you can do something about is the reaction after you have a feeling. That's the only thing you have control over. Nobody can tell you how to feel. But what you react to after that, that's what you can do something about. Okay? All right? Environmental. Environmental self-care. What is that?
Who you're surrounded by.
Who you're surrounded by, or what you're surrounded by. For sure. Okay? I put down a spiritual principle of organization. That will amazingly improve your environmental self-care.
Absolutely.
Okay? Okay, what are you surrounding yourself? What do we live in? That's going to affect us mentally, for real. Like there's some things maybe in your office and at your work, like that's affecting your environmental self-care, for real. Okay, so what you're surrounding yourself with, that is important in how we take care of ourselves. Okay, financial, we're going to learn about that. I won't dive into that. But Brother Antonio will dive into how we take care of ourselves, self-care financially. Okay? Social.
Who you socialize with.
Who you're around? Yep. Who you socialize. Making friends. Do you know people who just stay to themselves all the time?
Mm-hmm.
We all know that person. I don't be bothered. I'm not being bothered with you. Okay? Making a friend or making yourself available to others affects your daily self-care. It really does. You're important. What you have to say, sometimes, we like to be a recluse. They stick to ourselves. There are people like that. There's some people who work better in the background. And some people are like, I'm not a people person. But if you're a Christian, can't do that. Can't do that. You got to deal with people if you're a Christian.
Yeah.
You don't know who God's going to use you to bless that day.
Right.
And if you're like,
Praise
no, I'm not doing that. I'm not talking to that person. I'm not doing that. Pastor Bishop preached it today. You're cutting off God's ability to use you and bless you because we are telling God, I'm not doing something. I'm not doing that. Okay?
Yes.
That's probably a little bit about our fast, right? How many of us have said, I can't do that? I'm not giving that up. I mean, I'm serious. Be real.
Yes.
If you can't be real, God cannot bless you. Okay? I can't do that. They want me to give up what? Man, think about Jesus, what he gave up for us.
Yes.
If he can do that, he has empowered us to do that. Okay? It's about your self-care. You got to take care of you so you can be a blessing to other people. Okay? Recreational. How can we take care of ourselves recreationally? Recreation.
Join a club.
Join a club.
The right club.
Right. Right? Amen. Right? Just making sure, like, you involve yourself, like, doing something, finding joy and fulfillment in doing something that, chess, we have different things around here that there's a chess house, you can go, there's so many things that you can do, recreationally. Have fun. That's all it is. Have fun. Anybody like to have fun?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And of course, we're working on this spiritually. Spiritual self-care. How do we take care of ourselves spiritually?
Talk to God.
Talking to God, yes.
Going to church.
In your word, going to church, fellowship, doing devotion, spend that one-on-one time. Yes, ma'am.
If you're doing something physical, they say sometimes it's good to have somebody you're accountable with.
Recreational and spiritual. Okay? If there's anything that you've neglected yourself in, work on it. Nothing, like when the pastor says it, nothing grows in the garden until somebody was tending to it.
That's right.
So you got to work on what you want to grow. Okay? Thank you. Love you. Sister Kristen, come on down. If you need these again, let me know. Okay? I'll run it back to you. I'll run it down. She said she would introduce herself. She don't want me to do it.
I just forgot to write it down.
Love you. Oh, you need to do anything? You got your
Financial. So I thought we'd start off by talking about what health and wellness is. they go hand in hand. So does anyone want to define what they think health is? So what is your definition of health? Like, what does health look like to you? Go ahead.
Mentally, physically, financially.
Yep, so all three things. Does anyone else have any? Go ahead, Kit.
Taking care of yourself.
Taking care of yourself.
Not being sick.
Not being sick. That's great.
Wow.
So what I have here, the definition I came up with, health is a state of complete physical and mental and social well-being. So all three of those things. So it's not just being free of disease or illness. It's the wholeness of your mind and body, which lets us live our lives to the fullest. So you can't just have one or the other. They both go hand in hand. So mental health and physical health. All right. So next we're going to talk about wellness. So wellness goes hand in hand with health. Wellness is your daily habits that get you to a good state of health. So wellness is the act of practicing healthy habits on a daily basis to attain better physical and mental health. So some key areas that I want to talk about are social connectedness. So Val, we just talked about making friends, making sure you're being social, joining different groups, going to church, getting active in your community. So social connectedness, exercise, and that can look different for everybody. That could be weight training, that could be going on a walk, that could be engaging in recreational sports. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. You don't have to work out for hours every day. It could be as little as 20 to 30 minutes a few times a week, 2 to 5 times a week, or most days. The next one is nutrition. I know people like to think nutrition doesn't really matter for health. Like you can just eat whatever you want. You can do that, but you're probably not going to feel the best. So nutrition is very important. So the way you can improve that is just by adding more nutrient-dense foods to your diet in the form of fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and we'll get into that a little bit later. The fourth one is sleep. So sleep is pretty important as well. I know we try to skip on sleep, like, oh, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Like, how many times have we said that? Like, I have too much to do. Nobody has time for that, right? But when you don't get good sleep, it's really hard to function optimally during your day. All right, so and the fifth one is prayer or mindfulness. So making sure you're connecting with God through worship and prayer. You can do this in the form of deep breathing exercises, things that relax you, watching your favorite show, comedy, laughter, hanging out with friends, and of course journaling, or even going to counseling if you feel like you need to talk to somebody. So the key to good wellness is to always be making small improvements in each of these areas. So by focusing on your overall wellness, you're gonna get to better health. Yeah. All right, so we wanna talk about how to start to improve your health. So 4 or 5 different things that I like to focus on with clients. First and foremost is examining what your current diet and exercise and lifestyle habits are. So if you don't know what you're doing throughout the day, like a lot of habits are unconscious, you're making unconscious decisions, like say you're hungry, it's 12 o'clock, you didn't eat breakfast, you're starving, you're like, you know what, McDonald's is right down the street, so I'm just gonna go. You know where I'm going with this. McDonald's is right. I'm gonna go get an egg muffin, maybe some fries, and we do this hopefully not on a daily basis, but that can become a habit, and that's gonna hinder you in getting to your health goals or fitness goals. So examining habits is really important. And being aware of what you're doing throughout the day. Another thing is finding exercise or movement that you enjoy doing and that is sustainable. So how many times at the beginning of the year we decide we're going to start working out and we pick the hardest workout that you could probably do? So like one of them is like P90X. Does anybody remember? So you're like, you know what, I haven't worked out in 5 years, I'm going to start. Hardest thing. I'm going to start with the hardest thing I can do. Yeah. That is the biggest mistake I see people making. We start off at 200% and you haven't worked out or done anything active in a long time, and then you end up injured, and then you're injured and can't pursue any help. Yeah, or you're like, I give up.
Or discouraged, yeah.
Right, so we want to find something. Yeah, super discouraged. We don't want that. So you want to find something that you can easily do. The thing I suggest to people is start with a walk. Start with walking. Go to the mall. It's really cold outside right now. Find somewhere warm to walk, or if you want to go outside, bundle up. Find a buddy. It makes it a lot easier to stick to what you want to do there.
Right.
So yeah, finding movement that is enjoyable and that you can do long term. So next one is eating a balanced and diverse diet that includes nutrient-dense foods and foods that you really enjoy and that is also sustainable long term. So what I mean by that is you don't want to just eat the same healthy foods over and over, because you can actually create nutrient deficiencies that way. A lot of people don't know that. So when you start eating healthy, you want to eat a variety, as much as you can, a variety of fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, different carbohydrates to provide energy. So diverse diet, and definitely nutrient-dense food. So less fast food, less like packaged food, because those foods aren't the greatest when you're trying to improve overall health. And you definitely want your diet to be sustainable and not cut out everything you like to enjoy. You want to have
That ice cream.
Well, yeah, you want ice cream. Like, I'm not saying that you can't have foods that you really enjoy, because that's not a sustainable life. So you want to enjoy your food, but also make sure you're getting adequate nutrition through healthier foods too. Next one is getting enough quality sleep and rest. We just talked about that a lot of times. That's the first thing to go of when we're really busy. We're like, you know what, we'll worry about that later. But believe it or not, sleep deprivation actually causes major health issues as well. So you want to make sure you're getting as much adequate sleep as you can. Last one is managing stress. We all have stress, right? It's not ever going anywhere, but you want to just find effective ways to manage that stress. Yeah. Okay. Oh, this is like really small. I don't know why that happened, but. Alright, so what are habits and why are they important? So habits are routines and practices performed regularly, so things that you do that you realize you're doing and not realize you're doing. They're automatic response to a situation, so even like situations that come up, your response to that situation, that is also considered a habit. So your daily habits play a crucial role in how successful or unsuccessful you are in reaching your goal. So good habits are actions that are helping you, moving you closer to your goals. So things like regular exercise, eating nutrient-dense foods daily, drinking water, having a positive mindset.
What did you say about drinking water?
Drinking water. Drinking enough water, yeah.
We all need to get
That's like another, that's another habit that tends to go, you're like, oh, I don't need water. I'll drink more. I used to like drink tons of coffee, and like I would drink more coffee than water, and that's not good. So, yeah, tea.
How about iced tea?
It could be unsweetened iced tea. Yeah.
I'm getting close to water.
Let me make a note on drink.
Died water.
You don't want to drink your calories, because that's really so easy to overdo. So you want to drink mostly water. If you want to add a little bit of sweetener, you can, but we want to kind of reduce our intake of soda, sweet drinks, because those add up really quickly. And they raise your blood sugar very quickly. Yeah, very quickly. So yeah, drinking water, having a positive mindset, positive outlets to reduce stress, going to church, reading scripture, believing that you are capable of doing hard things. So bad habits are actions that are hurting you and pushing you further away from your goals. So some of those could be no exercise or movement, not eating all day, and then eating mostly fast or convenient food, not drinking any water, grocery shopping on an empty stomach. That is, how many of us have done that? We are like, I'm hungry, but I have to go to the grocery store. And then we have a list, right? You have a grocery list. And then you get stuff on the list, plus everything else. So don't go to the grocery store on an empty stomach. Make sure you got some fuel there. And then having a negative mindset. So I can't, I quit when things get hard. Because I mean, this stuff isn't easy, but you don't want to give up either. So those are some habits. So what we want to do with habits is definitely take some time to identify them. So taking time to identify some of your habits that are good and bad, how they're contributing to your current state of health. The goal isn't to change everything at once. It's just about making small and sustainable changes over time. So if you have a lot of bad habits to change, just pick one or two and work on changing those, and then replace those with better habits. Not going to happen overnight. You didn't get to where you are overnight, so it's going to take time to change. So now we're going to talk about the importance of exercise. How many people like exercise?
Like it.
Okay, I forgot to say this. I forgot to say this. This is
Not like I like the ice cream.
judgment-free zone.
Right.
Okay, so this is a judgment-free
Listen,
zone.
don't judge.
I forgot to say it.
I just want to say,
Yeah.
for seniors,
Yeah.
Social Security pay for membership.
Show do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Whatever one you want to go to.
Planet Fitness.
All of
Okay.
them. Any one you want to go to, they pay for it.
Really?
But you gotta get up out of the bed and go. That's the key.
I'm the one that go back.
I didn't go when I paid. Then I go to the next one. They paid when I still didn't go. Now, change your mindset,
Yeah, so that's good to know. I've also heard that some insurance companies pay for gym memberships, so that might be something to look into too. So if you have like a chronic illness or anything going on, sometimes your insurance, I don't know like what they'll cover, but sometimes insurance companies do cover gym memberships. So that's something to look into. So regular exercise can help prevent health issues, also help you overcome health issues if and when they happen. Because let's be honest, we're all human, right? You can be healthy one day and then something happens and you're not. And exercise is still important in maintaining the health that you have and helping you get back to a state of health. Improves your mood and helps you maintain a healthy weight. So some physical benefits are heart health, reduces risk of heart attack and lowers blood pressure, strengthens your bones, muscles, and joints, and reduces risk for osteoporosis, especially for women, especially as you get older. The risk for osteoporosis goes up, so you want to make sure you have strong, healthy bones. Weight management, so it helps you maintain healthy weight and blood sugar levels. And then if you have any chronic pain, getting blood flow to muscles and joints helps alleviate pain. and stiffness. So we have some mental benefits for mood. Helps improve your mood by releasing endorphins. Helps manage and reduce stress levels. Sleep helps promote better sleep, which improves your mood and overall well-being. Depression and anxiety, if you deal with that, helps reduce symptoms of those two as well. And then some other benefits are you have better health outcomes when recovering from an injury or illness, better overall energy, and then provides opportunities to socialize with others as well. And then now we're going to talk about the types of exercise. So there's strength training, which is my personal favorite way to exercise. Done it for years, since like my early 20s. I just really enjoy it. I used to compete in CrossFit. That's like a whole strength and conditioning program. That was really fun. So strength training is great because it helps you build strength and muscle. So when you think about strength and muscle, a lot of people think like bodybuilders, power lifters, like hardcore people. But there's a lot of benefit for everyday people to build healthy amounts of muscle and strength. Helps you maintain weight, helps you build muscle, so stuff like that. So you can perform that with free weights, machines, resistance bands, or your own body weight. If you want to do at-home workouts, there's plenty of ways to do that. Some benefits are injury prevention. So building muscle helps protect your joints, especially if you have joint problems. Improved body composition and weight loss. So building lean muscle mass helps you lose weight and maintain it over long term. So a lot of people think that you have to do a bunch of cardio to lose weight, but honestly, building strength and muscle helps you a lot. It's not like right away, but over long term helps you keep that weight off. So another one is improved athletic performance. So gaining strength leads to better athletic performance, better balance, reducing your risk of falls, especially as you get older. Yep. And then increased quality of life, so it improves your ability to do everyday things. And then we have aerobic exercise, so that is everything like walking, running, swimming, hiking, biking, rowing, skiing, jumping rope, dancing. And then I don't know if you guys have any other forms of cardio that you can think of, but good benefits here are helps you improve your cardiovascular fitness, so that's your heart, increases endurance, and lowers your blood pressure.
You go up and down the steps a few
Yeah.
times and get your heart beat.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
VR headset.
Weed.
Yeah.
Remember the weed exercise?
Yeah.
That's it.
That's a good one. Anything to get your heart rate up, get your blood pumping, sweating a little bit, is a good aerobic exercise. Alright, so next one that not a lot of people focus on is mobility and flexibility. So mobility and flexibility kind of go hand in hand. Mobility is what improves your flexibility. So that is basically, it's training that helps increase the range of motion in your joints. If you have really stiff joints, there's certain exercises you can do to help that, and that helps in turn improve your flexibility. So this helps you move more freely, reduces muscle tightness, and that in turn helps improve your overall strength. So you kind of need both of those to get better at strength training and other methods of fitness. Like if you're really tight, it's going to be really hard to progress in the gym with certain movements because your mobility is restricted. So I do this a lot with clients. Like I include mobility and flexibility within their workout, and that way if they have any areas of limitation or tightness, we're always working on that, and then that in turn improves your strength overall over time.
Is that like yoga type?
Kind of like, yeah,
Yeah, kind of like yoga, Pilates. There's a method called kin stretch that's kind of like a joint. I call it like joint yoga. It's just like holding certain stretches for a certain amount of time, and that like helps your joint capsular mobility. So that's like a whole like other thing we could talk about, but yeah. So that's like another aspect of exercise that's pretty important. So examples are dynamic stretching, which you do like during a warm up, and that's where you kind of like take your joints through like a range of motion instead of just holding it. So dynamic stretching is what helps prepare your muscles for the workout or exercise. And then static stretching is at the end of a workout when you're trying to cool down. That's where you gain most of that flexibility. And then we have balance. Okay, so having good balance, strength, and stability can help prevent falls. So that's like another thing that you want to focus on, especially as you get a lot older. You just become more susceptible to falling. So you want to make sure you're training that aspect as well. Yeah. So that helps. Other benefits of that are improved strength, posture, cognition, mindfulness, and then slows bone and muscle decline. So it helps slow all that down. All right. So next question is what type of exercise is the best one? My answer is all of them. I think the best combination is a combination of strength training, cardio, flexibility, mobility, and balance, because that's the best way to build an overall healthy body. So you don't want to just do cardio, you don't want to just lift weights, you want to kind of do all of those combined in a way. But ultimately, the best type is the one that you're going to stick to. So I know a lot of you guys just mentioned, you're like, exercise. Okay, but yeah. So you want to find some exercise that you can do that you feel like enthusiastic about.
Right.
So the best method of exercise is the one that you're going to stick to long term. So it could be dancing, ballroom dancing, it could be skiing, it could be like any type of thing that you enjoy.
Fishing.
Fishing.
You gotta run and watch fish though.
That's a good one. That's a real good. Shoulder motion going. Watch how far I get this one
Alright, so next we're going to talk about nutrition. So, like we just talked about earlier, nutrition is pretty important to overall health. So, a well-balanced diet is crucial for maintaining overall health and well-being. So, nutrition is what gives your body the nutrients to function properly, including energy for daily activities, building or repairing tissues, especially after working out, supporting your immune system, and then reducing the risk of chronic disease like heart disease, diabetes, and cancers. So we know all of those are rampant in our society today. So we want to do the best we can with our diet to prevent those things or like make those things better for us. Okay, so what does good nutrition look like? So a great diet is one that is balanced, includes a wide variety of fruits, vegetables, lean protein sources, whole grains, healthy fats, limits the processed foods, added sugars, and excess sodium. So some key components here are things like fruits and vegetables. You want to aim for 5+ servings a day. Sounds like a lot, but it's pretty easy to sneak them in once you know how to do that. Some complex carbs from rice, things like rice, quinoa, potatoes, sweet potatoes, oatmeal, lean proteins. What was that?
Did you say grapes?
Grains.
I thought I heard grapes.
Yeah, grains. Yeah.
Fish.
Yeah, fish, lean protein from chicken, ground turkey, lean ground beef, eggs. Fish is I forgot to add fish. Healthy fats from olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, avocados, nuts, and seeds. What was that?
Good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Coconut nut.
Yeah, coconut oil is great for that. And then also limiting the saturated and trans fats, so things found in like highly processed foods and high in unhealthy fats. So that you kind of have to get better at like reading labels on the back. Yeah. If you take like a bag of chips.
There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot, and there's a lot more now than there was even a few years ago. So
I can't read it. It's like I'm in the kindergarten. I can't read none of those words.
yeah,
That's the secret, they don't want you to know.
I know. How do I understand none of those verses on the back of the packages? That's why I don't read them.
you should read, here's the thing, if you can't pronounce
No, I don't really read
Don't
none. Yeah,
guys,
So
if
you
you
can
can't
look
pronounce
words
most
up
of the
on
things you're eating, that's a problem. Like,
right.
yeah, that's a real problem. Go ahead.
Apples should just be
Nowadays,
apples.
Google will tell you everything.
Yeah.
You know, all you have to do is look the word up and it'll tell you what it means.
Yeah,
And that it's not good for
a
you.
lot of it is not good. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
no
there's-
vegetable oil.
No.
No.
Well, yeah.
No canola oil.
Canola oil, what's the other ones? Peanut oil, rapeseed oil. There's all kinds of new ones out there too. That they make sound good,
Price.
but they're not. And like a little bit
really?
isn't gonna kill you. There's like people saying, oh, like don't worry about everything on the label, and that's fine. But like if you're consuming a lot of these foods on a daily basis, over time, that's like sticking to your inside, and that's wreaking havoc. Go ahead.
So is olive oil good for
Olive oil is
cooking?
excellent. Yeah.
Olive oil.
Yeah. Olive oil isn't. Well, yeah, it's good. You wanna.
Get good olive oil.
Yeah, if you wanna cook with it, like I would like put it on vegetables and bake it, because cooking it at high temperatures actually destroys like all the good stuff
Yes,
in
it
it.
does.
Yeah.
A new one that I don't know how new it is, but it's new to me. I started using avocado oil.
Oh,
Yeah, that's another good one. And that one's good because you
Yeah,
can
that's
cook at
good.
high
It's good
temperatures
for your
without
health.
higher temperatures with that. So, yeah. Yeah, avocado oil is great. And then we also want to do our best
So out
to-
with the Crisco, huh?
Name on your passport.
I grew up on
It's not the best for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I realize it's probably good. It tastes good, but
So we eat eggs and bacon for
Yeah,
breakfast
yeah.
and sausage at times, so is that gonna kill us?
No, I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of times we're told, they'd say eggs, bacon, butter, and all that stuff is so bad for you. Well, what's bad is the stuff they put in it. Like, the stuff itself isn't what's bad. Like, if you get grass-fed butter, or like a high-quality butter, or high-quality, like, nitrate-free bacon or sausage, like, it's not the food itself, it's the stuff they put, the preservatives they put in it. So if you want to eat that stuff, you can. Just try to opt for higher quality if you're eating it all the time. Yeah, so the stuff you're eating all the time, try to make it as high quality as you can. Yeah.
Okay.
Think about a pig and what they eat.
Right. Yeah,
Garbage.
exactly. A lot of
What
not
they
great.
swim in, what they live in.
Right. Yeah, it's not.
Uh-oh, guys,
It's
they're
not
bad
the
when
best.
they go in
Yeah,
there.
even fish,
Big bath
yeah,
and
there's
back
like
to
fish
fish.
farms. Like fish farm, they have like farm fish now, like they feed it like all kinds of coloring
Yeah.
and like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Farm
they eat
raised
fish.
Farm raised fish.
Farm raised fish.
If you look,
Yeah, certain kind of fish,
Why you
yeah,
not
I
catching
heard
that?
that.
No, farm raised.
yeah, if you look at fish, like look at the back,
They got
yeah.
big,
They
yeah,
got like tanks and they
tanks and they
breed fish.
they breed the
So
fish
for you to
and
eat,
and
so
so the
they feed them
fish is
stuff to
eating
make
their
big
own.
Tilapia is actually man-made.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, I don't eat that. Yeah.
Yeah, so you wanna opt for like high quality, as high quality as you can most of the time. So.
Well, we gonna need y'all men to go fishing, so.
We need Jackie to go fishing. We need Jackie to go fishing. I've seen Jackie.
Alright guys, so what diet is the best? So just like exercise, alright, there's many diets out there that work, but they're not sustainable long term. So we're looking for something that you can do for like the rest of your life. So there's the diets out there, I'm sure you've heard of these, some of these keto, carnivore, Atkins, Weight Watchers, they all work, right? I'm sure some of you have probably tried some of these diets and maybe had a little success, but then the problem with that is you do a diet for a certain amount of time and then you gain all your weight back and then more, yes, exactly. So did it really work? Probably not, because you're right back to square one and then you might have added weight as well. So we want to do things that we can do for the long term. So diet is one that you'll stick to long term, aim to get as many nutrient dense into your diet every day as you can, while still including some of the foods that you love. So again, I'm not telling you to cut out ice cream and cake and like all that kind of stuff, because those are delicious.
Just adding to what you said, this is actually something you told me was great advice. Kristen told me, take the word diet out.
Right.
Don't look at it as diet.
Die.
This is your lifestyle.
D-I-E.
Yeah, this is your lifestyle.
Right.
You have to find something that works for your lifestyle. This is for your health and for your life. So don't look at it as diet, because diet, you automatically think temporary. I'm going to do this till I get this. And when I get this weight or I get this result from the doctor, then I'm going to go back to doing what I was doing before. No, you look at it as your lifestyle.
Yep, exactly
Stick
right.
to it long.
Healthy living.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I think coming to America made me a very lazy man.
I
believe it.
I believe it. Yeah.
Everything you have to write it down how you're going to do it. But first of all, back home, since I was a child up to now I'm a senior. Transport. My school bus is my feet. We used to run from home, that is 10 miles to school, and then 10 miles back home. That is more than enough exercise.
Yeah.
And I really don't need to do PE, which we do in school, on top of my running to school. So, now, here, my kids have to walk. They cannot even walk to a store which is next block. They need to be taken there. Or my wife, if she wants to go to a place where she can go and buy food and bring it home, she needs to get her key and the car key to go and buy. Now, for food, she's a very good cook. She's a very good cook. I can give it to her. But the way I eat my food sometimes is different, because I can eat fish, even the head.
Me too.
And I enjoy it very much. And that is where you get a lot of nutrients, a lot in fish. But I'm still confused writing things down and then start using it. Why can't I just get into it and then just eat it? It's good. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I say make the kids walk.
Yeah.
Walk to school. We're going to change the policy. Get rid of some school buses.
And another thing is hindering us is we're illiterate now. Everything depends on that phone.
Right.
I remember every phone number that came across, I can remember it. Now we just stroll.
Not exercise.
You know, it's not exercise.
Yeah,
Right.
that's right. That's true.
No, that's very true. Yeah, so we gotta work on that, right? We do. Right. Alright, so wrapping this up, some key takeaways, so just talk about what we talked about today. Focusing on your overall wellness, so those daily habits, leads to improved health. Your exercise is important, so again, key is finding an activity or activities that you enjoy or you really enjoy and that you can stick to. Nutrition is also important, finding ways to include nutrient-dense diets in your foods while still enjoying foods that you love here and there. Most important is being patient with yourself and not giving up. I think a lot of people start something and you're like, oh, this is way too hard, like I can't do it. But you want to just like keep working on changing your daily habits every day, include some new foods here and there, and like over time you're gonna make changes. Again, you didn't get to where you are overnight, so it's gonna take time to make those changes, but they will help you in the long run. So. There's some printouts that I gave you guys here. So, yeah, this is from Precision Nutrition. They're a really good resource to look up. So this is based, I like the PAVE method. So you'll see on here, there's an anytime meal. So that's basically like most of the day. Ways to like incorporate this post-workout, and there's even a plant-based gluten-free foul. Yeah, so basically just like half your plate of veggies, and then the rest is like protein and fats, and starches. So that's a good guide to have. And then how to create a perfect meal is on there, a packet, and then how to eat healthy on a budget is also there too. Thank you guys. Like 3 more minutes of questions. Questions.
We are coming off our 21-day fast, and I don't know how people fast. Everybody fasts different, you know, and what you pick and say, well, okay, well, we're gonna go on day fast or whatever. However, my issue is that we don't have enough education about what you said, nutrient dense. We can say we're going to give up something and we're not going to eat this, and then we don't eat that, but that don't mean it's nutrient. We're not getting all our nutrients by giving up stuff. Right. And so we need you to come back and tell us more about. And I'm gonna definitely read this because
definitely dive into that. There's foods in there that are nutrient dense. Like it tells you like what the nutrient dense foods are, and then how to incorporate them.
Because it's good to say you're gonna give up meat, and then you ain't got no protein, and you don't even know what vegetables got the protein.
Yeah.
So and then you be all messed up like I would.
Yeah. So take a look at that guide there. Good. We have a doctor in the house.
Yeah, it is okay.
The question for you.
No, I don't know if who can best answer it, or maybe both of y'all can from different aspects of it. Like, we are told we can eat all type of vegetables, all type of fruits. But then there come a time when it's something got to do with the spinach, the broccoli, the kale, which they supposed to be our better vegetables. But then they say it causes, too much K vitamin, or you get over. So how do you balance that when we're told we're unlimited to eating our fruits and vegetables? Because because like my dad, he takes blood thinner. Yeah, and so they're seeming like the best part of food that keep them healthy, they taking it away from them. So I'm trying to figure out, like, to make it make sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Bringing it to
Right.
how much he eat, what he don't eat, because my dad is a health person per se, more so. And when you go to the doctor and they're taking that away from him, then what do he have left to eat off of? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
all vegetables don't have the vitamin K in it, but for cumin users, they can't do it. But I have some cumin patients who eat broccoli, lettuce, but I make sure they're doing this weekly and they don't take breaks. And so I adjust their cumin and their INR to what they're eating. Now, if they vary like a holiday or something, they just go out, I tell them come in because their INR will go up and they'll bleed out. So you have to monitor. So as long as he's monitored with his doctor frequently enough and he balances what he's eating and he's consistent, then he could do it. But it is, as a rule, you start cumining, you have to get rid of the good vegetables. You just do. That's how it is.
so then what do they use to place those?
You can do some vegetables without vitamin K. So it's kind of the lighter green ones, and then you do fruits and other things. Yeah.
See, I done told him to move from Georgia. We need to go see around. So y'all pray on my daddy. Pray on my daddy. Because he just eliminating. I'm like, hold on, Dad. Wait a minute now. You gotta eat something else in the place. So yeah, okay, you gotta just come home. That's all. So y'all pray for him. Because the doctors ain't down there ain't telling them that. So,
She said have them talk to a nutritionist.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Nutrition is helpful.
I know.
Insurances will, some insurances will cover a nutritionist, so you can visit with them and see how you need to eat. But we gotta check it out. We don't ever check out our insurance to see what they offer.
They might cover like some of your like gym membership and nutrition and stuff like that.
They wanna do preventative instead of having to pay for a hospital visit. They wanna do preventative.
Is there any other questions?
She'll be back.
I'll be back.
Please understand, she'll be back.
Good.
Because we're gonna get healthy.
We want her back. That was nice. Thanks, Kristen.
We're gonna get 8 days.
Excuse us.
Okay.
Okay.
Leave us in front. I'll pass.
Take a 5-minute, just stretch out whatever you need to do. And we gotta get started with our next session. Financial wellness.
Yeah.
Huh?
Did you learn how to get
Yeah. Is this mine?
Yes. Right.
We just got off of that. Not good. Grapes was delicious.
Oh.
Down south, people don't like it up here.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, now you need a book because you gonna make so much money. You gonna need to know how to handle your money. I know. I just feel that from. Yes, sweetheart. Oh, you need
I get a check.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, those of you who are interested, Kristen, Pastor,
and tell her from
job
you.
to watch you.
So you can look forward to it and all that.
She will be introducing some classes for us. We have like working on the locations as far as gyms and things. I have access to the YMCA, so everybody, you may have a membership there, you may not. We have Camel, where we had our Easter service last year. My father goes there to walk, so he's getting his exercise in after his stroke, and God is blessing him because it's important. She will be back. We will be introducing. We'll announce the times that she will meet with us and the location to exercise. Okay. All right. Okay. Next, we're going to get into our financial wellness workshop with Antonio Reese, and I'm going to read what they sent to me. So, and this is my cousin. My cousin. Okay. So, Antonio Reese, he was born. He had no idea he was born. He is a born-again Christian. He's married to my first cousin. He's been married going on 24 years this year. And the father of two beautiful young ladies, Jayla and Ari. He is a 4-year Navy veteran. Thank you for your service. He's a Bachelor of Science degree from Ohio Dominican University in Business Administration. And he holds real estate sales and brokerage license. And he is the founder and owner of Reese Realty Group. And he's been practicing real estate for over 20 years. Let's give him a hand.
My wife got on me this morning. I kind of wrote down some of my stuff there, so I'm reading a little bit from me. I have a teleprompter every day. Shout out to you guys. I mean, Bishop, this is amazing. This is like the best church in America. Really care for you. Shout out to you. This is amazing. So just giving honor to God, and thank you, Bishop Bernie and First Lady Bernie, and my cousins as well, Pastor Guy, Bernie, and Val. I love them all so dearly. Man, it's just an amazing opportunity to speak to you guys. And Guy, he had called me a couple weeks ago and said, man, we're doing this financial thing, and I need you to speak on it. So I was just super excited. So whatever information I can just kind of share with you guys to be a blessing. But shout out to Kristen as well. Health and wealth are just such a partnership. You see a lot of similarities in both fields. It's just a discipline, as she kind of mentioned. It's just like you got this diet, but really kind of taken away from the diet, because me, I'm married to a Kathy, and we like sweets in my house. So it's just that balance, right? So in finances is really kind of the same way. It's that balance of carrot cake and peach cobbler to stocks and bonds and savings and things like that. So it's the same concept, really. It is, and it really is it's a partnership, because health is your wealth. You know what I mean? So it starts with the body, and then obviously you take it in from there. So I have. Did everybody end up getting a book? Okay, wonderful. Okay, has everybody heard of Dave Ramsey? Dave Ramsey? Yeah. Okay. He's a financial expert. He's a financial expert. You can YouTube him. You can Google him. He's a TV personality host there, based out of Nashville, Tennessee. Got a chance. I was introduced to Dave Ramsey back in like 2010. So, as my cousin mentioned, I'm a real estate broker by trade. So, during the 2008 financial crisis, we saw a lot, right? So the stock markets were down at an all-time low. Real estate prices were at an all-time low, basically like 50%. So what I was able to witness is I saw a lot of real estate investors lose a lot of their properties. And so my niche in real estate actually is foreclosures. So I specialize in obviously selling repossessed homes. So homes that have actually went through the foreclosure process, the government, HUD, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac were like my large clients. They would hire me to go in. Unfortunately, we would have to evict people, and then we would put the house back on the market for sale, get the money back to those entities. So it was really heartfelt. So all the transactions that I had sold, I'd always walk through these homes and thought about the story behind the people that were actually living in those homes. So it was a lot of just hardworking people that just ended up losing their homes due to just, you know, unforeseen circumstances and situations. So it wasn't for me just, okay, hey, I'm selling all these transactions, I'm selling these homes, but it really started to get to me. Right. So my friend introduced me. He said, hey, look, you know, you check out this guy named Dave Ramsey. So as a real estate guy, you know, I'm kind of like, you know, a little apprehensive about just taking information from people. Because if you Google finances, you're just going to have so much information come up. Everybody has an opinion on the subject matter. Even my financial advisor, my wife's and I financial advisor, we're at odds. We're at odds now. We can't agree to disagree. We're about as different as the East and the West. You know, you'll hear guys talk about leverage, 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 you know, finance, finance, finance. And you'll hear some people say, you know, get out of debt. And some people say if you get out of debt, it's more of a scarcity mentality. And so I just started really kind of digging into him and saying, okay, what does he have to say? And one of the things that kind of was highlighting is that he was coming from a biblical perspective. So I was like, okay, let's look at this a little bit deeper there and what the Bible has to say about money. And so, you know, he's referencing scriptures and Proverbs, obviously, like, you know, the rich ruleth over the poor, the borrower slave to the lender, which really stood out to me. Because in real estate, we're taught just the opposite, right? When people go to buy a house, we're taught to do a 20 or 30-year mortgage. And it's like, you know, and so I started talking to some banker relationships and saying, what's behind the 30-year mortgage? Because obviously I'm on the foreclosed side. And if somebody's missing payments for the, you know, 2, 3, 4 months, they're coming to repossess the property. Where did you guys get the concept of a 30-year mortgage? And a lot of them just couldn't answer it. They couldn't answer it. And so even when, you know, we're at the closing table with our clients, they have a statement called the APR statement. And they always say, close your eyes, shut your ears. If you stayed in this house and you made this payment for 30 years, this is what you would pay over the life of the loan. And it's usually like 3 times what the actual loan started off. And I said, well, man, that's usury. Like, think about this. And so if I bought a $100,000 house, I've already probably paid that house off in the first 10 years. So why are you charging me 20 years additional of just interest? Well, because the banks make money off of interest. And so I'm like, you know, this just doesn't sit well with me. Like, you know, how are we advising our clients and so on, you know, 30-year mortgages, and then here I am on the back end. When they lose the house, they're coming to get me and doing all the dirty work. So I started digging, and I said, you know what? I like this guy. You know, he kind of, you know, is going against the grain of the system. You know, he's challenging the system and saying, okay, if we can, you know, look at it really from God's perspective when it comes to how we handle our money and just pay everything off. So that way we don't owe anybody anything. So all we do is just, you know what, when money comes in, we can direct how our money goes. For most of us that are evangelical Christians, we tithe right off the rip anyway. So why couldn't we tie it to ourselves as well? Because a lot of times our money's already spoken for. You know, we give our 10%, and that 90% has already got names on it, right? Like mortgage, you got student loans, you got credit cards, you got car payments, and the money has wings. You know what I mean? It really has wings to it. It's so fast how fast money can go, right? Like, and you're just looking like, man, I just made this money and it's just gone. You know, and so, and then you start this cycle, and then 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road, it's like, where did my money go? You know, I've made X amount of dollars and the money's gone. So he created, it's what they call the Dave Ramsey 7 baby steps. So this is the sheet that you have. This is what I have studied, my wife and I, for the last, about like 12, 13 years into it. It's not a get-rich-quick by any stretch of the means. It's kind of like what Kristen said. It's a lifestyle change. I was telling Guy, we were talking about this a couple weeks ago. I said, you know what, Guy? You remember the layaway programs that retail stores would have when you would just go in and just lay away clothes and items for Christmas or, you know, school clothes? They did away with that. And replaced it obviously with, hey, you know, you got same as cash, you know, we got credit cards. And if you sign up for this credit card today, you know, you can get 15% off of your purchase. We are so bombarded by debt, you know, and I'm like, well, okay, if you're gonna charge me, you know, $200 on the layaway, right? That layaway didn't have interest back in the day. They would just literally lay away the clothes, and then you would save the money up, and then you would just go, once you had the money, you could make payments on it. Interest free. And then afterwards, once you had the money, you would pay the layaway off. Well, retail company said, hey, we ain't making no money off of that. We need your credit cards, we need you to purchase that right now. And I'm like, God, how do we get away from that? Because it was a brilliant plan, right? Like, you see something that you like in the store, you know, you may not have the money at the time to go get it, so you lay it away. I thought that was brilliant, but then we got greedy. Retailers got greedy and said, I need you to buy that today. I need interest on that today. I know you may not have it, so when you're at the register, sign up for $25 off or whatever, and we're going to charge you 20% if you know, buy this credit card, blah, 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 blah. People are signing up left and right.
30%.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But we are so bombarded by debt. It's unreal. And you know, a lot of it's technology, right? Like through our smartphones. You know, we even pay everything through debit cards. So one thing that Dave Ramsey was talking about is that how about you take out an envelope system and take out cash and see how that feels when you actually pay something. Okay, I see something for $80 and you pull out $80 instead of your debit card. It's so easy to swipe. $80 just comes right out of your account just that fast. So even that is a psychological factor as far as how we pay for things, right? So he kind of goes in depth over all of these things, and like I said, I could talk for hours, so they only gave me a little bit of time, but I'm going to be brief. So in this is the first, is step one. It's a $1,000 startup emergency fund. So the first thing that you want to do as you're going through this journey, I call it a journey, is that if you can get your hands on $1,000, right? Now I know $1,000 is not a lot of money today with the compound interest and things like how expensive things are, but it's a start. So that way it kind of weans you a little bit off of that credit card debt a little bit. But at least if your furnace goes out, if you got some car repairs or some maintenance, or your kids need something, that's not an emergency, but kids always need something. But that $1,000 you need, right? So that $1,000 should be put in a checking account, a CD, a money market account. Don't worry about how much interest this is gaining. This is what they call a baby step emergency fund of $1,000, okay? So that, you really don't want to touch that unless you have to get your hands on it. Number two, pay off all debt using the debt snowball. So what Dave Ramsey teaches is that you go from smallest to greatest, right? So I'll use us as an example. My wife is a physician, and we got married. The debt was over $100,000, and for me, I was nicknaming him Goliath. I said, man, golly. And I remember the payment. We stretched the payment out over 30 years, so the monthly payment was $501.17, and I think the 10-year payment was like well over $1,000 a month. And I would say, you know what, we got to pay Goliath off. And she said, you know what, AJ, let's change the name on that. I said, well, you know, Goliath was defeated. She said, let's call him Paid Off. So let's just change the name to Paid Off. So I said, okay, all right, you know, Doc, we're going to go ahead. As you know, I had my 5 smooth stones, and, you know, looking at this huge Sally Mae debt. I had a little bit of debt myself from undergrad, but, you know, medical doctors, I mean, and hers was cheap, to be honest with you, because she was able to go to Youngstown State and then go to Neo-UConn right up the street at Rootstown, compared to a lot of doctors that go to, you know, for other, major institutions where doctors are coming out $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 in student loan debt. That's pretty normal. So we were considerably blessed just based upon how she lived, and I said, okay, well let's grab up that stone, and that was like the biggest debt at the time. So our first real estate purchase actually was a 4-family 4-unit. We lived in one unit. I'll never forget it. So we lived in one unit, and she had a patient that lived next door. How would I known when I bought that building that, her patient would actually be a tenant and a patient at the same time? This ain't gonna work. So she's a trooper. I was selling her the dress. And look, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna build this well. This is what we're gonna do. This is my ride or die. So we lived in the 2-bedroom unit, and we were starting to attack the debt. And patient was a little crazy, but didn't knock on our door too much, asking for, can you fix my toilet in the middle of the night or anything like that. But things overall were good. But when you're doing the debt snowball, first thing you're going to do is take your smallest debt first, and then you work your way up. So you'll build some momentum. So if it's a credit card, if it's a student loan, if it's a car payment or whatnot, you'll just work your way up. So you list your debts from smallest to greatest, and then every debt that you pay, you'll cross off. You'll celebrate that victory, and you'll take that money and roll it into the next. So it really gives you an opportunity to kind of snowball that thing upward. So if you started off kind of like how we didn't have any car payments at the time. We just, student loans and a house payment was our big one. So we saved and we saved and we saved and we saved. We had children. And realized how expensive they were because, my parents didn't tell me how expensive I was. And, I'm like, my goodness, it costs like $5,000 just to get you out of the hospital. We had the whole maternity thing and all of that good stuff. It's like, wow, the insurance company was right there. Like, okay, she's pushing. You got your insurance card? Yeah. She is a doctor. Can we get a discount for that? But yeah, it was just, the money was just starting to fly. And so, just taking your time, obviously, just moving up that debt snowball. And I want to say we paid off the Sally Mae and my loan back in 2011. I promised her, she went to med school at a seminar. She said, AJ, I would like to see my medical school debt paid off in 10 years. So I was like, oh, yes, okay, all right. But I did promise her, I said, we'll get it done. So she started her practice in 2002, and we paid it off in 2012. God be the glory. That thing right there, we nicknamed him. We changed the name from Goliath because he was so big, and we called him Paid Off. But every time we would write that check every single month, we said, it's paid off. It's paid off. So just that positive reinforcement of, we're going to get after you. Like, I'm going to cut your head off. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to cut your head off, you uncircumcised Philistine. He was because death will talk to you. It will talk to you. You'll wake up with it. You're like, man, here we go. Like, just get away from me. He'll get in the bed. Like, while she's doing her charts, she can't, student loan debt. Now you're still raising babies and student loan debt. I'm like, we got to get him. We got to knock him out. So after we had knocked him out, now I'm going to go to, I'll go through our story later, but baby step 3 is going from your $1,000 emergency fund. You're going to build up 3 to 6 months of living expenses. So you're going to raise that $1,000 up to 3 to 6 months. So after you paid off all your debt, your consumer debt, credit cards, student loans, all of that, anything that has a debt, anything that has a revolving line, you want to pay all of that off. Then you're going to go to baby step 3, and you're going to raise your emergency fund up to 3 to 6 months. So for me, I'm self-employed in real estate. We usually try to carry a little bit more because some months we don't get paid. It's not like every single month we sell a house. We average a house usually every couple months and so on, but we need to have that cushion and reserve. So depending on how stable your job situation is, you can lean more towards the 3 months if you feel really good about your employer. If you feel not so hot about your employer, you may want to bump that up 6 months to even a year. Because there's a lot happening in our world if you see. Our world is changing.
Oh, wow.
Has anybody been watching the news?
Wow.
Things are changing. I'm going to just leave it at that. I'm going to just leave it at that. So nobody's going to protect your home better than you.
That's right.
So God is the source, but you have to protect that.
Yes.
Number 4, invest 15% of your income into Roth IRAs and pre-tax retirement accounts. Anybody's employers have 401k, IRA benefits and opportunities there. That's usually the best. Yes, okay. That's usually the best way to start. I won't be too complex on this there, but 15% is a good number. It's a really good number. I know that's a large number for a lot of people, but if all your debt is wiped out, right, and you got 3 to 6 months now sitting in a bank account, you may be able to pinch off 15%. So 10% to God, 15%, so that's 25% already gone. So 75% left to live on. So, but what that 15% can do, if you're getting a dollar for dollar match with your employer, so basically every dollar for the first 3% or 6%, depending on how your employer structures it, it's a match. So there are some employers that have what they call a Roth 401k, which is even better, right? So now you're taking taxable money, you're putting it into a Roth vehicle, which a Roth vehicle allows those dollars to grow actually tax-free. So your pre-tax money goes into the deferral, and then your tax-free money goes into a vehicle called the Roth. So I'm 47, my wife is 51. I don't know if Social Security is going to be there. Right. For us. Right. I'm glad y'all getting it. Yeah. My mother and my father-in-law, Uncle Walt, and everybody that's getting Social Security, get yours. And everybody that's getting Social Security, all y'all blessed. We are $36 trillion in debt, though. You know, the government is $36 trillion in debt. And for us Generation Xers and millennials and Gen Zs behind, I don't know if it's going to be there. Right. I just don't know. I would like for it to be, because they've been taxing us all the way up the whole time. So it's not necessarily an entitlement, it's just giving us what we already paid you, right? Yeah. We've been paying you the whole time. I'm going to be realistic. I don't know, Mr. Anderson, to kid, if it's going to be there for us. You know, God bless our parents, and we'll take care of y'all. Y'all get y'all's. We're going to have to figure it out. Yeah. So that's why baby step 4, to me, is going to be critical, because we got to take care of ourselves. I think there's 50 or 60 million baby boomers. Is what the population is. And that's a lot of people. And granted, they did pay in the system. But we holding y'all up too. Because we, every time, FICA, and we're looking at our checks, it's coming straight out. It's coming straight out, guys. And I'm looking at like, FICA, I don't even like you like that. You ain't feeling it. You ain't feeling it. FICA, I'm going to introduce you to your cousin FICA. No, taxes are extremely humbling, you know. And, man, I don't understand it. I get it. But I still don't understand it. You know, I talk to our accountant every year, and he said, well, you know, the tax code is and you guys got to be blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, man, but just tell me what we owe, bro, like, because it's nauseating. But no, it's this system here that we're paying into the system, and we're hoping that it's going to be there for us, but you can see the cracks in the armor, right? Yeah. Like, I'm like, how? I'm just a business major, and I'm like, how do we get from a surplus 20 plus years ago to $36 trillion in government debt? Exactly. And I'm like, are we just really, really outspending our expenditures coming in? Absolutely. We have to. Right. You know, and we just continue to keep printing and printing and printing more money. Yeah. So like during COVID, while we wonder why our grocery prices and inflation is so high, because we just print money. There's no backing and support behind the money, and I'm like, okay, how long can we do this, right? Right. This can collapse. This can get ugly for everybody. I'd rather try to attack it like how this guy did.
Yeah.
You know, if the government would just follow these plans, maybe we'd be all self-sufficient. So, but no, step 4 allows us to invest 15% of our income. I like to say, just if you can start off small and then work your way up to that number, and just let it just come right out of your check. So as soon as it comes out of your check, you'll be like, oh, okay, check a little bit lighter. But you'll get used to it.
Yeah,
You'll get used to it. And so once that money just starts flowing, then you can just start giving yourself a raise every single year. So not everybody can start off with 15%. Maybe you're at 3% or 5%, and then maybe give yourself a raise every single year. Okay? Step 5, college funding. Oh, I can spend a long time on that. For us that are parents that are raising children that have those children that are in college, I am humbled by how expensive college is. I have a 21-year-old, and she's in her 4th year at Ohio State. And my wife and I just flat out said, look, matter of fact, the Andersons, we were all there, the Bernies, we were all there. We went to Ohio State. We actually did a tour. And I told her, I said, you ain't got to look no further. This is it. I'm good right here. Not just because the Buckeyes won a national championship, but I'm good right here. But the plan was, is I said, look, you know, we started researching what room and board was. So I'll just put out the numbers and the figures, full disclosure. Her mother and I just wrote the check back in, 1st of January. It was $6,800 a semester. So that's just for tuition only. Now, my daughter tried to challenge me and say, well, you know, Dad, I would like the college experience at Ohio State. Now, keep in mind, we live 20 minutes away from the university, and she wanted the college experience of a dorm. And I said, okay, well, let's look into that. $20,000 for a dorm that is about half the size of this room, with a couple bunk beds, and some girls that you ain't even gonna like that. Listen, this is what we're gonna do. Because it worked for your mama. Your mama stayed at home and went to Youngstown State. So you ain't better than your mom. This is how we're going to roll. You're going to stay at home. Come on now. You got a car. You're going to commute 20 minutes. And, you know, you can hang out with your friends and all of that. But we're not spending $20,000 a year for bunk beds. You got a nice queen-size bed. You can wash your clothes without being charged at Ohio State. Every time you go to that place, money just falls out of your pocket. They're going to charge you for everything. Meal plans. That place is not cheap. I said, look, you get your clothes washed. You get 3 hots in the cot. I'm in the Navy, so I didn't need much. I tried to get 3 hot, free meals. You get desserts. You get all that you need. And we're going to just drive 20 minutes in, drive 20 minutes out. And you know, even her, and I'm going to tell you the game, right? So her engineering, I think it was her professor, we were on a Zoom call. Oh, he said, you know what, Mr. and Mrs. Reese, sometimes, you know, they have to study real late. And you really might want to make that investment of having her live on campus. I was like, how late we talking? 8, 9 o'clock? I said, I can pick her up.
Ain't no problem.
It's not $20,000 worth, Doc. I mean,
we'll take
I'm
your
in sales.
Come on now.
I'm in sales, so how you gonna try to sell me? He says, you know, I mean, seriously, you know, the engineering students, they study hard, they're up all night, and you know, but it'd be nice for a dorm. And I told her, I said, look, I'm trying to prepare you for life. You know, like, it ain't just about just rolling out of bed, brush your teeth, you just fall up in class, right? Like, I'm trying to teach you the average commute in America is about 20 to 30 minutes going to your job. I said, you got to look at engineering school as this is your craft. I'm driving into my job, right? Because life ain't real easy for these girls. You know what I mean? It's real easy. I said, you know, it's good to, you know, we get some snow on the ground. You got to hit your windows. You might have to leave a little early. But I got to train you that, you know, once you're out on your own and you have a job, you know, you might run into that Columbus traffic or wherever you are. You got to prepare yourself. It ain't just about just rolling out of bed, brush your teeth, maybe brush your teeth, now you in class. That's not how the real world works. So I said, all right, look, you got your car. This is what we're going to do. We're paying for tuition only, and we're going to commute. we got some static, we got some heat, but we held our guns. I said, let me talk to your mom. Like, I'm not paying $20,000 for the experience. So even that whole experience has been sold on us as parents, as kids, and a lot of it's dead. Because these kids are coming out 4 or 5 years with $100,000+ in student loan debt, paying 10, 15 years of what you did back when you was 18 and 20. Right. And then you're trying to buy a house, you get married, and that student loan still wrapped around your head, right? And you're like, okay, how beneficial was it? Like, thank God for the degree, but all the excess stuff that I had to finance. Because a lot of kids, they'll take the student loans and they'll do stupid stuff with it. Stuff that they can't even account for. So when they're 23, like, yeah, I took a student loan out to buy some rims on my car. Wow. Like, my daughter told me, true story, she said, Dad, my friend took a student loan out to get breast implants. Oh, I said, really? What? Crazy. But true story. And I was like, man, that's expensive because she's going to be paying for that for a long time. So it's stuff like that, that the debt just kind of just slowly just, massages you. And next thing you know, as parents, we feel the pressure. We got to sign up for FAFSA and they asking for everything from us. And it's like, okay, man, y'all ain't the IRS. You just asking me for everything, right? Like, I'm going to pay you what I'm going to pay you. And so a mentor of mine, his matter of fact, Ariana's parents, their daughter went to Lipscomb College in Tennessee. And so it was an out-of-state school at the time. And I think Lipscomb at the time was a private school in Tennessee, about $50,000 a year. So he picked us up from the airport. I'll never forget this. I said, man, Mr. D, how you doing? He said, man, I'm telling you, man, they student loans, they called us. And he said, look, I'm not paying that. I said, but didn't you co-sign for the loan? He said, I did, but man, me and Rose, we ain't paying that. But I was like, $200,000 for 4 years for an education degree. And so I'm like, ooh. Man, that's real. Like, and then I'm studying her because I'm looking at her kind of as like a best practice. And she's living at home, and she's working at Bath and Body Works because she has an English degree, but she owes $200,000. And I'm like, God, that's what kind of shovel? Like, girl, you got to make some money. Unless you J.K. Rowling or something, you gonna get a bestseller. That's $200,000 nut that you're gonna have to pay. So I just was sitting back, just kind of studying parents and their experiences, and because in Ohio we have amazing public education, from Ohio State to Cincinnati to Kent State and whatnot, and seeing the fact that once that kid crosses the border and goes out of state, the tuition doubles. Yeah. And I'm saying, like, my daughter was like, Dad, I really like UNC. I said, well, why do you like University of North Carolina? Oh, the colors, Dad. I just like the colors.
Yeah, that's a good reason.
So we're at about 15,000 at Ohio State. And if we had, room and board, we're at about 20, so about 35. If you went to UNC, out there in Chapel Hill, we'll probably double that. Yeah. For the same degree. Help your dad and your mom make sense of this. But Dad, man, I want to be on my own. So the great thing about this life is that life will show you what it needs to be on your own. So she actually got her opportunity to an internship this year. Went off to Louisville, went off to Kentucky. She had her internship, and she was home almost every week. I said, yo, I thought, you had your apartment, you got somebody with you, and you kind of getting the college experience that you said you didn't have. Why are you in the crib every week? I just miss y'all, Mom, Dad. I just miss y'all. I'm telling you, ask her. She was home almost every week. Clothes was always getting washed. We always make sure her clothes was washed. So I said, oh, what about the college experience? Like, I thought you got your own apartment with the girl you're sharing. So you're kind of getting that, what you said that we kind of held from you. You're getting it now. I don't even like the girl like that. fighting over the bathroom, and time they gotta get in the bathroom and get their hair done and all that good stuff. I said, see, we saved you. See that? We saved you. So that's college funding. He is a big component of state schools and allowing your kids to go to state schools and not out-of-state schools. He said, if you got the money to go out of state, then that's fine, but he highly suggests in-state schools. Like I said, in Ohio, we're blessed. We got some amazing education. I told my daughter, I said, listen, not only are the Buckeyes there, but once you leave, the alumni is so rich. You know, I mean, you can go all across the United States and say, OH. And I say, oh. You know what I mean? So it's a good experience. And, you know, once it all settles in and you don't have any debt at all, and you come out as an engineer and your money becomes yours, you know how powerful that's going to be? I said, you know, they'll probably raise at Ohio State in your class, it'll probably be 6,000 or 7,000 people that'll just literally stand up, class of such and such, and then we'll just sit right back down because the class is so big. And then we'll cut cake and, you know, have a little reception, and then it's over. But half of that class is going to be stuck with student loan debt. And they're going to be paying for those experiences for at least 10 years. So that college funding is a big one. You know, what my wife and I did, it took us this whole process from step 1 to step 7, about 10 and a half years. We saved as much as we could. When Jayla got a chance to go to Ohio State, we didn't have, well, we had the money to send her in the dorm. I just wasn't spending the money. I said, this is ridiculous. Like, it's a bunk bed. And then they hit you with the meal plans. So, you know, she goes back and forth to school. Dad, can you cash out me some money? And I feel like I own cash out. Like, you got a meal plan and the money goes off the meal plan, and then it's like, I'm out of money because, you know, we help her out with her gas and things like that. But so that's all part of the college funding in baby step 5. Baby step 6 is paying off your home early. This is one usually where people kind of turn their head a little bit to the left and to the right. Like I said, we're conditioned and trained to pay